What's up, Bob here. Welcome to Vinyl Finds on the Bob Bradley YouTube channel. This is number 67. Found some records this week and we're going to get into them right now. Coming in hot. Bam! Tony Rice Unit. Acoustics. Yeah. This is on Kaleidoscope. Label looks like this. Now, if you want to hear some perfect masters, playing a little grass, playing a little gypsy jazz, flavored stuff, this is a very good record to get. Features Tony, Sam Bush, David Grisman's on a track. It's pretty outstanding record. If you're into acoustic-based music that is downright beautiful, this is it. Tony on the front here in this Hotel California kind of background with Clarence White's D28 with the enlarged sound hole. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be Clarence's guitar, but you know, Tony's been playing it for so long now. Legendary guitar player. Yeah, this is fantastic. Fleet-fingered players on this, just burning. I cannot recommend this enough. It is something that I've been looking for a while, and I was super stoked to find it. It's about a $10 record, maybe. If you see it, you should definitely get it. It is really good if you're into that kind of thing. Next. While ago, I saw the Jazz Shepherd. Yep, there's been a lot of talk about the Jazz Shepherd this week. I'm going to shout him out too. The Jazz Shepherd showed a bunch of these records a while ago. Bam, the Ohio Players. I didn't have any, and I was like, I'd like to have some Ohio Players. And I'm mostly interested in the ones on Westbound, which this one is. This is the greatest hits. Found this, $1.99 on Westbound. Pretty good shape. And, you know, there are some funky jams on these Ohio Players records, if you will. This one here contains all the bangers. And not all of them, but a lot of them. It's really good. They got these fantastic covers that are, you know, on the surface, kind of... you know how it is. They're kind of sensual on the surface, but if you dig a little deeper, there is a dark political undercurrent going on. See this? Yeah, they were definitely trying to make a statement when they did this. They do this with a lot of their records. Super awesome. Speaking of funky, yeah, man. Bam! Erykah Badu, New America, Part 1, Fourth World War. Yeah, that's right. This is a dope-ass record, okay? Double LP on the custom label here. I think it's on Universal. Thundercat appears on multiple tracks. This is incredible. I'm a huge Erykah Badu fan, and pretty much that whole universe that surrounds her, and you know, the Questlove and D'Angelo, Pino Palladino, Jay Dilla, which some of these tracks are dedicated to the memory of. Just fantastic stuff. I'm a huge fan. I just love her work, and you know, I plan on getting you know, as much of it as I can. The records are pretty, unless, I mean, I want the original pressings and stuff, so I can go out and buy the new ones anytime, but I plan on finding all the original pressings of her records. Bam. Erykah Badu, New America, Part 1. Really killer. So, I was looking for records. You know how it goes. Flip. And I noticed this. Joe Farrell, Upon This Rock. And I was like, oh, something on CTI, that looks interesting. And then I looked on the back of it and noticed that Herbie Hancock, yeah, Herbie, Steve Gadd, appear on one track called I Won't Be Back. Now, this is an interesting record. Lots of guitar, kind of like kind of funky pentatonic stuff, kind of verging on kind of Hendrixian stoner solos, if you will, to some degree, mixed with just like kind of like contemporary jazz. It's a very interesting mix going on. Clearly on CTI. Yeah, I like a lot of things on CTI. A lot of people are kind of meh on it, but you know, it's been pretty good for me. This one is no different. I'll spin it a few more times and see where I ultimately land on it, but for now it stays. Next, speaking of jazz, JJ Incorporated, JJ Johnson, trombone player, that's right. This is an interesting record. Saw it, it was cheap, and I thought, yeah, that looks interesting. I'm not a huge trombone guy, but Freddie Hubbard is on this. Yeah, Freddie Hubbard is on this. This is a pretty good record. Freddie in fine form on this. A lot of good trombone playing on this too. Kind of an interesting looking cover, I think, on a very clean 6i Columbia. Cheap jazz, you know, not real expensive, especially for the condition. It was, you know, very reasonable. Speaking of reasonable, Blue Note, boom. Jimmy Smith, Groovin' at Small's Paradise. This is a live show, and Blue Note 1585 Volume 1. Jimmy on the front, looking dope as hell. On that 47 West 63rd in New York City, right there on that Blue Note. Yeah. I found this $8. See? Now, here's the deal. I know how a lot of you feel about Jimmy Smith. You're like, Jimmy Smith, take it or leave it, you know, whatever. And here's the deal, okay? You have to understand this, okay? To people who play the organ, the B3, Jimmy Smith is as important to them as Coltrane is to everyone else, okay? Because to them, Jimmy Smith is playing the bass with this hand, and he's ripping like Coltrane with this hand. That's the way they think about it, okay? I know that it often gets described as party music or whatever, but you have to understand this man was a genius. And this is a burning record, by the way. I'm going to play a track for you where he's basically playing like shredding guitar licks of sorts. I mean, it's insane. I mean, this dude was a virtuoso. He does not get enough due. He definitely deserves it. He is one of the monsters on the keys. Jimmy Smith, Groovin' at Small's Paradise. Speaking of monsters on the keys, boom, Herbie Hancock, VSOP, yeah. There's like this is like a double album, 3 different bands on here. You know, you're going to get some Wayne Shorter, some Tony Williams. This is typical Herbie stuff. You know I love Herbie Hancock. He is one of the legends in the game. It's like a $5 record, you know. And it's on that Columbia 360. Beautiful sounding, actually. The sonics on this are very good. And everybody on it plays like a freaking beast. So, yeah, it's really good. These records, these VSOP records, are not that expensive. So, if you see them around, You should get them, but you know, they play some Miles stuff, Nefertiti, and some Herbie stuff like Maiden Voyage. It's really cool. Was super stoked when I found that for $5. I mean, come on, what are you gonna do? Now, while we're doing this jazz thing, last year this came out. I didn't get it. It's a new record, and I thought I should get that. Boom. John Coltrane, Blue World. Yeah, that's right. This is on Impulse, on that classic Impulse label. A couple different versions of Naima on here. One of my favorite Coltrane tunes off of Giant Steps. It says on this hype sticker on the front,
newly discovered, previously unreleased music from the classic quartet.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard most of this music before. Maybe not these exact versions of the songs, but all the songs, clearly. It sounds real nice. It's classic Coltrane. It's the classic quartet. It is a burning record. It's beautiful. It's $20. If you see it, you should probably pick it up. If you don't have a lot of Coltrane stuff, that's not a bad place to start. You know, I usually say to get Giant Steps because it's a really accessible record to people who are not that into jazz. But that one's widely available right now, and yeah, it's really pretty nice. Okay, so Record Store Day, Black Friday, 2019. This came out, and when I saw it, I was like, what's the chances of that getting sold out right away? You know how some of these RSD titles are. They stay around for months and months and months. And I didn't pick it up on the morning of Record Store Day. And I get home and I realized that it was limited to 2,000 copies and everybody wanted it and blah, blah, blah. And I should have bought it when I had the chance, basically. Lo and behold, though, I find a copy just sitting around, boom, in a record store. Johnny Griffin, Eddie Lockjaw Davis, live at the Penthouse. That's right, Record Store Day, pulled from the 10-inch Ampex tapes, you know, all in reel-to-reel. Yeah, that whole deal. Sounds really good. Kind of a, you know, live gig. They're doing some heavy duty playing, kind of a blowing session, if you will. It's a pretty badass record. It really is. It's a double LP. Sounds real good. I don't know how they knew how to record so good back in the day, but they did. Okay, I mean, they had it down. And this is no exception. I mean, this sounds incredible. Super glad to have found that, especially since I assumed that I would not be able to get it. Now, found one more record this week. But before I get into it, I do need to kind of set it up a little bit. So, in 2012, I believe, this record came out. The Tedeschi Trucks Band Revelator. Great record. Kind of a soul rock, if you will. You know, obviously also it's a blues kind of a thing. It's kind of an Allman Brothers kind of a thing. You know, Derek Trucks and Allman Brother, if you will. O'Till, Kofi. A 12-piece ensemble, to be frank. Okay, Derek Trucks, the perfect master of the slide guitar, possibly, you know, in the top 3 of all-time slide guitar players. Probably Dwayne Allman, Sonny Landreth, Derek Trucks. Those 3 are interchangeable. Love Derek. I've seen him in concert many times. I've watched him play for hours standing, you know, 2 feet away from him. Incredible experience. That said, I did not know when I was going to all those Derek Trucks Band shows and Tedeschi Trucks Band shows that Kofi Burbridge, the keyboard player and flautist in the band, would pass away at an early age. And so, at some of the gigs, when I had opportunities to buy the records and things like that, when they had very first dropped, I was like, I can get that anytime. And then Kofi died, and some of those records became hard to get. One I was having a tough time getting is this one. Boom, the Tedeschi Trucks Band Made Up Mind, with this awesome cover of this bison, about to ram this locomotive here on these custom labels. I believe this is a Masterworks. Yep. And, great record. Tons of soulful tunes with blazing slide guitar soloing. Lots of horns and arrangements and things. Typical Tedeschi Trucks Band type stuff. It's a solid record. I think this is their second album. Those records have gone way up in price, so I saw it. It was somewhat inexpensive, so I got it. Pretty, no heavy grails this week. Just a bunch of serious music. Not a lot of real crazy collectible stuff or anything like that. Speaking of serious music, me and the guys I play with in a band called the Condors in the System are making a record right now. I've been putting up some vlogs about it on the channel, in which you will see me playing this 1958 Fender Stratocaster. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You can see this in the newest one. Yeah, we're making a record. It's called Nothing Matters. Everything Matters. We have other records, Music from the Ego Nebula and Lose It All, Volume 1. You can find those on all streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. If you don't know, or if you don't normally make it to this far in the video, I always put some cool links down in the comments, pinned at the top. Also, I generally, at the end of the video when these little boxes pop up, I generally link to like my Bandcamp and like some other videos and a member of the VC that I would like for you to check out. A lot of the times, they don't have a lot of subscribers. Weeks and weeks ago, I put the Jazz Shepherd up there. I'm putting somebody up there this week, and you should definitely check him out. Anyway, until we meet again, that's right, folks. Bob out.